everyone, this is Sonali. Thank you all for carving out some time for attending today's webinar on the episode 4 of our SME series, all about digital transformation and innovation. Through our SME series, we aim to share some great insights into what our market leaders are seeing and tips on how to navigate your business transformation through the next few months. We bring together a panel of experts every week to discuss the challenges we are seeing and are likely to see in the coming months. Our goal here is to inspire and educate SMEs in India on how they can also overcome and thrive during this time by digitally and technologically empowering themselves. To all the attendees out there, please type in any questions you might have in the Q&A section and we'll try to answer as many as possible at the end of the session. Request you to keep the questions within the scope of today's discussion and not to your personal business queries. I would now like to introduce and welcome our panelists for the day. Our first speaker is Mr. Pugal, Senior Consultant at Tally Solutions Private Limited. Our second speaker is Ms. Iti Rawat. She is the founder at Think Hall Training and Consultancy and also the founder of Women Entrepreneurs Foundation. Our third speaker for the day is Dr. Rupal Shah Agarwal. She is the director at Your Retail Coach. It's a pleasure to have you all here with us today.
Thanks, Sonali. Pleasure to be here.
So I would just like to start by saying, something that we say to all our clients, that digitalization is not a luxury during this time. It's more of a necessity. So my first question to all the three panelists would be that why do you think businesses need to digitally transform? If we can just start with Mr. Pugal.
Yeah. Thank you, Sonali. I think this is really very, very critical and important question. Right. So why we need to digitize and why you need to adopt technology? See, the crisis of this century is actually jolted us and is giving a rude awakening call. Few businesses that have been able to manage and survive during this pandemic are those, if you see, have adopted some kind of a technology or digitized their business to some extent, and we see that they are reaping the benefit today. And generally, if you see, SMEs have been vulnerable to economic crisis, and our society, we have seen we have been transforming during this pandemic. And if you see, we have been tested in variety of ways every day while adopting ourselves to the new working environment or the new routines. And if you see, not just the businesses, if you see, even every individual is constantly evolving and innovating. Basically, especially from a business point of view, it is very important that you start evolving and innovate yourself so that you can survive. And if you see, we are learning new skills and we have good time. Blessings in disguise, if we can say, out of this pandemic is that, we have time at hand, and it's a right time for us to, equip ourselves. So we are learning a lot of new skills. A large number of businesses are actually trying to reinvent themselves to stay afloat and survive. If you see, MSMEs have to beat this crisis, and they actually, they are the pillar of our economy. Where they contribute close to 35% of our GDP. Now, today, if you see, there are many technology-oriented solutions that can help MSMEs to overcome crisis. As social distancing and online is going to be the norm, we have seen this. Okay, so we have to find ways. Very important thing is that we have to find ways to resolve, or how do we handle or manage this in-person commerce. Okay? A good example today are the restaurants. They are tying up with this online delivery services. They are surviving. And one very strange, or very surprising thing that we see when you walk down in a commercial area or something. Now you see a lot of two-leg boats. I'm sure that everywhere you're going to see this two-leg boat, right? So it basically, this is the time where we need to adopt some kind of a technology and see how we can accelerate our business using this technology. right? So at present, if you see, I mean, like, there are wide range of digital technology that is available that can support the businesses. Uh, Simple and affordable technologies, which are mostly generally, if you see today, they are do it yourself, and it can be implemented. Few simple example for the MSMEs where they can start, I mean, adopting the technology or digitizing their business. If you see, if you take from sales and marketing aspect of it, there are many CRM softwares. Okay, now I'm just going to give few names, and definitely I'm not basically I mean, like, endorsing any of these for our products. Okay, so the few sales and marketing, I mean, like, CRM thing are basically, if you see, HubSpot is there, Tiger is there, where you can use it, and they're all, the basic versions are all very free. And communication and collaboration is again going to be a very, very key aspect for every businesses. And today you will find at least about 15 video conferencing services which are free. Google has extended their Meet software free, and Zoom, which is one of the very important, very big success story during this pandemic. Okay, I have a basic version free, which are there. And if you see from email marketing point of view, you have Mailchimp, where, I mean, like, you can schedule various different kind of communications. A lot of intelligence are built into this system, and these are, at the basic level. I mean, it's not a big rocket science that you need to understand. It is very simple, very easy, where you can use these I mean, apps or technology which can help you in accelerating your business. Like social media marketing, if you see, you have something called Hootsuite and Buffer. And office productivity, I'm sure there are at least about 95 office productivity tools that are available. It all, I mean, like, you have to start exploring, and now is the right time to explore all those things. Now, these small steps taken will be like sowing the seed of technology in your organization, which I'm sure will bear fruit in the long run. So technology is really going to be a key aspect or ingredient in your business for you to survive today and thrive in the future.
Definitely. So wonderfully said. Dr. Rupal, if you would just like to take that forward.
Sure. So I would like to throw some light on what is actually happening in the e-commerce industry right now. So if you see, there was a study published by McKinsey saying that the e-commerce industry has grown in the COVID period, so much so that it had grown in the last 10 years. So the growth is equal to the growth that the e-commerce industry has seen in the last 10 years. So now our customers are actually getting instantly gratified. Everything is on their fingertips. So everything, typically whatever they require, is on their fingertips, and the instant gratification is becoming the psychology of people. Just to give you an example, my mom, who is a 60-year-old lady, she orders her groceries from grocers. So now customers are getting adapted to this online way of working, online way of ordering, online way of ordering products as well as services. So when customers are adapting, do we as business owners, do we have a choice? I mean, I don't think we as businesses have a choice. And e-commerce, if you ask me, is definitely here to stay. It's not just because of the pandemic that we are looking at these kind of numbers and the orders. Definitely it has risen in the pandemic, but this eventually is going to be a combination model. It's going to be an omni-channel model where customers are going to be wanting you to be present everywhere, be it offline as well as online. So e-commerce is, so a lot of our clients come and ask me, you feel physical stores would shut down and only e-commerce would stay? No, that's never going to be the case. It is going to be a combination model, which is called an omni-channel model, which is here to stay. And for all those SME business owners who are here in the webinar today, I would urge you to think through and think something differently of how you can build this kind of a model in your business. So that's it from my side, Sonali.
That's great. Thank you, Dr. Rupal. Ms. Siti, if you would just like to add anything to that.
No, sure. I completely agree with Mr. Pugal and Dr. Rupal. They very nicely talked about it. But I would like to just add to it that digital transformation, when we talk about it, firstly, we have to understand that what exactly is digital transformation. Most of the companies start believing that once they are on social media or they have created their website, that becomes the digitalization for them. But it's just a part of it. Digital transformation, when we say that, it is a complete process, complete operations coming digitally. That's how you are solving your problem. You're digitally solving the problem. That's when you are completely paperless. You have a digital platform which is actually getting access to your customer, getting access to your supply chain, and everything. It's completely automated. At this point of time, post COVID, the businesses are actually looking forward to this kind of digital transformation. And if you are not doing that, you're somewhere lagging behind. If I compare it to the enterprises, which are these big, large companies, they definitely must be cash rich. They must be very quick to get, they have the cash required to get digitally transformed. When we talk about the SMEs, the power that we have is the agility. We can very quickly move our processes. So when you ask me that why we should have digital transformation, it is the age of adaptation. If you don't adapt, you will not survive. That's the main reason. And you become digitally transformed because, one, you can have new customer. You can acquire a lot of new customer when you are on digital platform. Your outreach becomes much higher. You can also keep some of the existing customer back, because the new experiences, new pricing that you might be giving out to the people would be absolutely different, and some of your customers might just stick to you. There is also a lot of broken supply chain that has happened recently since March onwards because of COVID coming in. So with that, you can actually streamline your complete supply chain by going digital. The next is, of course, needless to say, because when we say digital transformation, it is a complete change management. Your employees are getting affected. Everyone who's related to you, who's working for your company, is getting affected by it. So you need to ensure that there is an employee engagement interaction program that is there. So digitization is also going to talk about upskilling, collaboration, building new competencies that is required right now for increasing the productivity of your team. Lastly, the fifth point that I would like to make is the financial stability. You need to get access to the funds, etc., which is also digitally possible nowadays. Also, you reduce a lot of operational costs. So everything is actually linked to your business goals here. So that's why you ultimately end up going digital. That's what my say is.
Great, Ms. Sati. So I would just like to take this up forward with you only. So my next question would be that how can these companies digitally transform themselves? What are the different ways in which they can do that? What would you like to add?
So as I told you, Sonali, that it is not just about becoming one of the website or getting your website ready or getting a payment done through website, etc. When we talk about digital transformation, it has to be driven through a business goal that you are looking forward to. So there would be companies which I can probably divide in few steps. One could be with the new market, one could be with the new product, the other could be with the new customer base. So depending upon what your business goals is, what you want to achieve, you need to manage and plan your digital transformation completely. So once you start talking about digital transformation, first thing is who's the leader and how you're digitally transforming yourself completely. There's a lot of agility that needs to be planned. It's a strategic move that you need to plan. Not just the leaders, then comes the executive part. When the executives also needs to completely change their mindset. It's a change management for them as well. So they have to undergo, and through new competencies, they need to learn and relearn, unlearn and relearn the new challenges that the digital platform is going to throw at them. And then move towards what are the things that they can adapt. Whereas there is n number of things that they can do, right from creating their social media to website to getting their processes and operations, everything online. There's also has to be a framework that needs to go into it. I've heard a lot of SMEs very loosely talking about that we are part of industry 4.0 because we have adapted artificial intelligence now, or we are now having robotics or blockchain technology is what we are using, etc. Whereas it's not really powered by them. So do they really need it? That is the first question they need to ask. And unless and until it is actually aligned to their business goals, I don't see that they have to completely go all out and get completely industry 4.0 ready as well.
Great, wonderfully said, Iti. So, Mr. Pugal, my next question would be for you. So, the main question is that how to capture the full return on the investment in digital transformation, since obviously it does not come for free. So, how would you say you can capture the full investment when these companies are going digital?
Yeah, I think Ms. Rawat had very clearly, set perspective on what you are going to do, how you are going to digitize another thing. If you see today, I mean, like there was a recent survey which basically, I mean, like says that 70% of our MSMEs are still offline. Right. So, which means, there's a long way for MSMEs to move into adopting technology and digitization. Right. So, yes, definitely. I mean, like you need to take the first step. So, if you think of ROI, literally today, I mean, like if you see today, for you to start a digital journey or adoption of technology, it is almost like zero investment. This, with literally zero investment that you have, you can imagine what is the ROI. I mean, like one is that, like Mr. Rawat had mentioned, it is very important that how do we handle this change management, and just like Mr. Rawat had mentioned, I mean, like almost every software, I mean, like which I mentioned earlier also, are available for free, the basic version at least. And, or, you have some time limit, like, I mean, like 30 day, 1 month or something, where, that is the incubation period that the businesses would have, so that, now they can start evaluating and try and see whether, this technology really works them, and then it is going to be productive enough. Okay, that's one. The second aspect is that basically, I mean, like again, Ms. Rawat mentioned all those points. Like, how do you start taking the first step, the baby step? Build your own website. Enhance your website if you are enhancing. Because today your digital presence should be there. I mean, like, whether you really, break the ice or no, but you have to be part of the herd today that is happening. Right, so you can do that. In fact, I mean, like I said, zero investment is that today you can build a website in less than an hour, and it's a zero investment, and in fact you can have your domain also. So that, that way what happens, I'm talking for those SMEs or micro and small industries where it's a new thing for them, where they feel, again, one of the reason in that survey that conducted, the reason why there is no adoption was in very surprisingly, one of the answer was that we are not aware of this thing. The second is, I mean, getting manpower to manage this, or it is too expensive. So all those myths are slowly, breaking, and we know all those things that is happening. So start creating. I mean, like take the first step. Then you can have your own domain. Then you can, port all those things. I mean, like it is very easy, very simple. Create your own YouTube channel. Again, creation is very simple. Start promoting your product or services, or bring some knowledge base related to your product or services. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you can do. Again, you need to have a focus, and definitely you need to have a positive mindset, because technology is going to play an important role going forward. So there is a very good saying, for things to change, you have to change. and nothing moves unless you move it. That's it.
Wonderfully said, sir. So,
I'd
Dr.
like to just add
Yeah,
two
yeah,
more points.
yes.
Mr. Google, you very well told about the ROIs that people can get. But ROI, I believe, is pretty straightforward. It's actually the number of months to a positive return and minimum percentage of return that you can get from it. Um, for somebody like a MSME or a small medium enterprises, I would not say that it is zero investment, because for us, a lot of time investment goes into digitalization. And when we do that, for us, time is money. So factors like time to market, revenue, year over year growth of numbers, these are the factors that I see that we can calculate our ROIs in. And completely depending upon whether you find it elastic or static, but uh,
Yeah.
we have just recently
Just
done our ROI
yeah,
manager, and this is
just
what.
to add, see today, the mindset of the SMEs are, I have to invest money into it.
Yeah,
That's why, I made a statement saying that, it's a
that
zero investment for you, upfront zero investment. But
yeah,
then what is the hidden investment that is there is definitely your time and
absolutely,
effort
absolutely.
and other things. I agree with you, yes.
Obviously we would take the Q&As at the end, but there's one person, Prasann, who has typed something in the chat box, which I would like to take up, which is absolutely related to what we were just talking about. So he says that, panelists, do you agree there's no one common formula or one methodology that fits for all, for any and all businesses? So the businesses that need to embrace digital transformation need to first understand that what the roots of digital transformation are. It cannot be digital lipstick on a legacy, rather than call for fundamental business transformation in preparation for the future, the competition, and the unknown capabilities and challenges. So, would you agree to that?
Completely. I think that he's very relevantly put it up. When we see the factors like market or time, months to positive return, or time it has taken to go to market, or revenue, or year growth, etc. I also would like to categorize it. This also depends upon the kind of company or the product that you're catering to. If the product is new, the company is new, or the market itself is new to you. Depending upon those, you can plan and plan your factors which you think that your ROIs would be coming in. And he very rightly mentioned that digital transformation is not really a digital lipstick on the legacy. Very well said, Mr. Prasanna. Good question.
Great. So, Dr. Rupal, I would like to take up the next question with you. So, being the director of your retail coach, I would just like to ask, what steps is your retail coach taking to help the startups and existing SMEs in adopting the digital channels for sales?
So when we talk about digital transformation, as rightly said, a lot of people are still in a question mark as to what their business requirements are. And the same what was with a lot of our clients. So, a lot of people had this threat that going online means we are actually losing all the physical touch points, the look and the feel, which I completely agree. But at the same time, going online, which means adding on to a lot of digital touch points. So for example, if you're in a product industry, your products can actually reach out to their customers much faster. And you can actually share across the product images, product videos. So these were the things that we had to imbibe in our customers, which was very difficult initially for them because this kind of an approach was never being taken by them. And to facilitate this, we also are and we have conducted a lot of webinars on Go Digital. So this is a kind of transformational journey which the SME needs to take up while going digital. So we are helping them understand the nuances of going digital, what kind of investments would be required, what kind of ROI should they be expecting, and what kind of time involvement in terms of their team should be having, what kind of capabilities should they be having. So we are conducting these kind of webinars, which for all our, of course, for the SMEs. And we had a vision of reaching out to at least 5,000 SMEs during this COVID period. And we are very happy to say we've reached out till 3,500 SMEs till now. So we are still going forward to help them in going digital.
Wonderful. So following up on that, I would also like to ask you how to build, personalized and new customer experiences for such SMEs. Any specific tricks or tips that you would like to share?
So when we talk about personalized experiences, I would like to share one of the success stories of one of our clients. Now they are into lifestyle business, and they basically have a premium category of products. Like they have premium laptop bags, premium sleeves for your iPads. So initially, of course, like the thought says that nobody would buy such expensive products online. I mean, people would like to touch it, feel it, see, look at it physically. When we started this online journey with them around 2 years back, the same was the story with them. And when we try to transform things, we actually had come up with certain personalized notes for every customer that the product was going to. So this added a lot of value, and this note was from the founder. So normally when the customer visits the store, if in case it's a store, uh, this kind of an interaction with the founder is never there. But when these kind of personalized notes go to them, it definitely adds on a lot of value when you are a customer and you are actually getting the note from the founder saying that this product is this, and we actually could explain a lot of aspects about the products. So while offline, we say, we tell our team members that you should be explaining the features of the products to the customers. You explain the advantages, so basically you do the fabbing part of it. And in most cases, it doesn't happen. So this was again a very good way of reaching out to the customer and explaining them each and every aspect of the product, which could happen digitally. Physically, it was still not possible because you don't have control over it. So there were a lot of such aspects that we tried to add on to the entire journey of them going digital. So that's how you can actually get a lot of personalized experiences as well. So there's one more example I would like to add for one of our clients who's into cosmetics. So they have come up with personalized packaging in terms of names of the clients on the shampoo bottles and the conditioner bottles, which was again possible because we've gone digital. Physically, again, it's not going to be possible. Such kind of experiences are adding value to their the product as well as the entire service that they're offering.
Definitely. So, Ms. Iti, my next question would be for you. So, your company has recently changed from complete offline B2B service-based industry to online. Can you tell me how you managed it and what you're really doing about it right now?
So Thinkall Training and Consultancy was a completely a B2B training service offering company. And since past 4 years, 4 to 5 years, we were doing the same. And there was a urge of going online and do a complete digital transformation. Thankfully, we did it just before COVID happened. So November is when we launched our online portal, which is a training academy, and we went from B2B. Along with that, we actually have got now B2C clients as well as B2B clients now who are learning on our portal. So this was a massive change for us. For that, we actually managed to have a different team altogether planned, and we did a lot of collaborations. Being a SME, we understand that we do not have such huge cash and such huge ability and team to perform something like this. So we wanted to add new competencies to our team, and we did that. And with that, we also tried quick collaborations. So this is the age of collaboration. With COVID coming in, unless and until you are partnering with the right people, unless and until you are doing the right things, you will not be able to lead your digital transformation. So people who are listening to this webinar, please do that. We did that, and we are pretty happy with the outcomes that have come in. The COVID, when it hit, was actually turned out to be very positive outcome for us, because online education, you would have seen, had suddenly gone up at that point of time. So we clocked number of hours, and now recently we have just crossed our 1,000+ hours now already online. So it's a pretty good move for us, and we were very happy with the outcome actually.
That's great. So, as you said, that this is the age of collaboration, and so following upon that, I have the next question: what really is the importance of cultivating that partner ecosystem and that collaboration within companies? Would you like to add something to that?
Sure. So without collaboration, I don't think so that you will be surviving specifically at this particular era. Because right now companies, even if we are talking about online education, suppose, just to give you an example, there are so many others that are coming up and mushrooming. Right now, every school, we are seeing it as an online education center right now. So it's no more just Byju's and Simply Learn, etc., which are providing the education, but every school is right now providing online education. So look at the complete dynamic changing right now in the industry. The competition is high. You are doing what others also are also doing. So unless and until in this very, very highly competitive environment, the best strategy that you can use is combine yourself and make yourself powerful, make yourself larger. That's what we do. So that helps you create that ecosystem. And instead of getting, we say that 1+1 becomes 11. That's true even in startup ecosystem also. And doing that, you can also build your customer base further, you can build your clientele further, and partners can bring in amazing amount of competencies. So look for your gaps where you are not really doing very well. It could be finance, it could be IT, it could be anything that you think your company's core competency doesn't lie. And that's where you find a partner who's doing extremely well in that area. And you bring your competency then on the table, and that's where the collaborations happen.
Wonderful. Also, Ms. Sati, Sanchit from the chat box has actually asked the name of your online portal. So if you can just type that down in the chat box itself.
Sure. It's thinkhallacademy.com. I will be writing it on the chat box right now, right away, sending you the link.
Great. So, Mr. Pugal, my next question would be for you. So, Tally being used by many MSMEs for their business solutions, how can Tally software be leveraged during this crisis, and what are the benefits of implementing it?
Uh, so the first thing, I'm just trying to give a visualization of the life of a businessman, uh, whether there is crisis or no crisis. If you see as a businessman, first thing, if I want, what I want from my business every day in the morning, first thing is three things I want to know, right? So what is the money that I have today? How much of money I have, how much I can spend, and how much of money I'm supposed to receive, and how much of money that I'm supposed to pay. Okay, so one is basically, if you see, is my receivable and payable management, and the other one is basically my cash flow. Cash flow, and then how do I get my cash projections is one the other aspect of it. And the third aspect of it is basically what is the stock that is lying with me? How long I mean, because every day that you are holding your inventory is actually you are blocking up your working capital, right? So, and especially during this crisis, it is very, very important for the businesses to start and leveraging whatever is their business solution or the accounting service software that they are using. Now, this product definitely I'm endorsing because I'm from Tally. So Tally again has been the technology partner for MSMEs for the last 33 years. And unfortunately, like in my experience in the last 25 years of my experience with various MSME owners and the users of Tally, I've seen that not many of them, hardly 30-40% of them use the full potential of the software. And today, during this pandemic, if you see, there are very good features in Tally. For example, you can combine the suite of features of Tally and see how you can achieve your objective. So one is basically your receivable and payable management. And today, if you see, everybody is struggling. I mean, like, my customer is a supplier to another. He's a customer. I mean, like, my customer is a supplier to somebody else and his customer, and, the chain goes on. So, it's very important now. And definitely, I mean, like, people who are here would have definitely, devised your credit policy based on various parameters that you apply. So you would have come out with a particular period, say about 15 days or 30 days as your credit limit, right? So that basically you have those parameters applied for that. Now anything which is beyond that is again going to be a very very critical aspect. And during my interactions with the SMA MSME owners, the one thing that I've noticed is, yes, I mean, like, many of them are definitely very, very clear about those expenses that are, visible in nature, right? There are some expenses which are invisible or basically the sunken cost. So a couple of examples which actually give highlights on these points are, you see, receivable and payable management. Now, in Tally, we have this called invoice detail, where you can actually set up a credit period based on the each customer. Because definitely now, if you have not done earlier, I'm sure that now you would have done a lot of due diligence of your customer, and I'm sure that some of you would have used the Pareto's principle of 80-20, which means basically the 20% you would have selected the 20% of your customer who are going to give you 80% of business. Now, how do you manage your receivable? So one, you can set up a default credit period where basically you have a visibility of, like I said, first thing I want to know today how much of money I'm supposed to get. Now, doing this, you will get a clear picture of what are the money that is going to come and also what is the money that is going to go. The other one that you can also set up using Tally is the credit limit, where you put a break. So in case if there is an amount outstanding and if the customer is requesting for more invoicing, when you're preparing the invoice, that Tally basically, once you set up the credit limit, Tally basically is going to give you a warning, and in fact it halts. It will never allow you to I mean, like, save that particular transaction until and unless you go and change the credit period. So that's one. The third aspect, which I talked about, the invisible cost, is that over and above the credit period that you have already set, any amount of number of days the amount is outstanding and you are not receiving, you are losing, in fact, the ROI, I mean, like, return on your investment, right? So if you see, many of our MSMEs today, most of our working capital is through some financing, through bank loan or various other financing. So what we do, we pay interest on the borrowed capital, and every sale that you are doing on credit is literally you are giving working capital to your customer interest free. So the sustenance period is for you is that 15-day, 30-day, whatever is your credit limit. Any day beyond that is again going to like, hit your bottom line. So we have a beautiful feature called interest calculation feature. And today's scenario, definitely, I mean, we can't tell our customers saying that if your payments are overdue, I'm going to charge you interest. Nobody is going to pay it, right? But then you can use this feature for what if scenario, right? So you can apply this interest for all those overdue bills, and by click of a button, Tally is going to tell you that on these overdue outstanding, even if the money is cleared, I mean, like, if the money is cleared beyond the credit period, it is also going to tell you what is the loss of interest that you are having. So this is the other part of it. Now, by doing and managing your receivable payable management, and then you are doing like, managing all your transactions properly and capturing those data, uh, by click of a button, Tally is also going to give you the cash flow and the fund flow report. And the best part is that it is going to give you a cash flow projection. So based on these receivable, based on those receivable dates that you have mentioned in the parties account, it is going to give you a cash flow projection for your entire period. And the best part is that I mean, like, you will have recurring expenses. One is that, yes, the sales, purchase, receivable, payable, you are able to manage. But then what about your recurring expenses which are fixed in nature, which in case you are not incurred, but then you want to bring it into your what if scenario. So Tally allows you to pass a provisional transaction where you can capture that information and have a proper and a realistic view of your cash flow. The third aspect is your inventory management. So very important. Like I said, I mean, like the more number of days inventory is lying in your office is what your working capital is getting blocked. So how soon can you convert that into an invoice, and how soon that invoice can get converted into your cash? Because for all of us, we know, especially during this period, cash is the king, right? So we have to see that how soon we can convert all this into cash. So what are the few important questions that as a business owner, or as a person who is I mean, responsible for these kind of functions, what is that I need to ask? Like, for example, do I know what products are selling fast, what are fast moving, what are slow moving, what are non moving products? So your system, the business solution or tally that you are using, is going to give you this visibility, age wise visibility, so that you can take an informed decision. Number two is, I mean, like the products that you are dealing, which product is giving you better profitability? Do you know which product gives you better margin? So by click of a button, again, you can have this information. The other aspect is that you have where 10, 15 products you have included in that. Now, are you sure that have you made profit out of this invoice? So each invoice wise, are you making profit? These kind of information basically you can see in this. I mean, I can go on and on and on, but then basically the whole idea is, during this pandemic, it is very important that businesses, I'm sure that Tally and any software that they are using, definitely they should be having these kind of features. My only humble request to all of them is that try and see how you can leverage it, so that you can manage your receivable better, you can have a better cash flow, and then convert your inventory into cash as fast as possible.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful insight on Tally Solutions. If we have any, we actually have a few questions based on that as well, which I'll take up in the Q&A round, so you'll be able to explain it further. Meanwhile, my next question would be to Dr. Rupal. So now this is a very important question, which is in the mind of almost all the business owners. For digital revolution to add value to the world, it must simultaneously address the emerging cybersecurity and the sustainability challenges. So how should a business owner go about the same? What are your views on that, Dr.
So, if you talk about cyber security per se, when we talk about digitalization, it also, every opportunity comes with a threat. But I feel every security challenge has a solution. I believe that when we talk about security, the basic things, let's do the basic things right. When we are accepting payments through payment gateway, let us, join hands with the ones who are actually authenticated ones. When you are actually asking your customers to do any kind of transactions online, you make sure your portal is well secured in terms of the digital, the cyber security that is possible within the kind of ecosystem that you are working. And one important thing that I would like to focus here is try not to do everything by yourself. Please hire experts, and they will give you the right solutions for every cyber security related issues that are cropping in. And this is not going to stop. This is just going to increase, so that you have to at the beginning be very sure of all the anti theft or those kind of measures for your digital platforms. So it is very similar to the physical. So what if you had a physical store? We definitely have a burglar alarm. We have a fire alarm. So we have all those kind of systems. So when we come up with a e-commerce, maybe a web store or any kind of digital platform where we are actually doing transactions, we are going to be looking forward for similar kind of security measures. So once again, I would urge that please hire an expert. They would be able to tell you what exactly has to be done there.
Wonderful. So my next question would be to Ms. Iti. So you also run another not-for-profit organization which has been working more on the ground. So Iti, how did you manage to make that shift post-COVID for the NGO?
It's a very interesting thing, because not-for-profit organizations generally don't tend to go online or go digitalized at all. But here we were helping and supporting women entrepreneurs. So my NGO, WEFT, Women Entrepreneurs for Transformation Foundation, it works towards gender equality in the startup ecosystem. We want more women entrepreneurs there. We have got a very less number right now. So to support them, we created a digital platform. It's a website, basically like an online directory of women entrepreneurs, that we expose it on a regular basis to corporates, so that corporates, and it's a platform where women entrepreneurs can meet up prospective investors, funders. They can meet up other opportunities that are existing, like incubation accelerators, etc. They also get to meet a lot of corporates who can actually buy from them or become their clients, etc. So people, there is one question I was just reading in one of the chat boxes from Pooja Goel, that as a woman entrepreneur, I don't get time. So how do I invest into my digital transformation if I need to do that? So WEFT is your answer, is what I would say. We actually create a mini website for you. It's not just an online presence or directory information that we have. It's a complete mini website which talks about you, which talks about your achievements, your company's achievements, etc., and connects you then to the right people. We also do a lot of promotions once you become part of that platform. When we say promotions online, whatever we are doing right now is a part of the complete that we had, and we had changed a lot we were doing earlier. Before COVID, we were doing a lot of physical conferences. Now things has to go virtual, so online conferences will start happening. Also, we did something which was very social cost based initiative during the lockdown, which was related to domestic violence cases, which was very off the shelf, but it ultimately enhanced the number of entrepreneurship, because any domestic violence victims that we were rescuing, we were also telling them to go online. We were telling them to have a sustainable livelihood through entrepreneurship. So more entrepreneurs there with the need.
Wonderful, wonderful. So with that, I would just like to take up the last question of the panel discussion before we go right in with the questions of the audience. So the last question, Mr. Pugal, I would like to ask you, how to empower workforce for innovating and creating the workforce of the future. So what are your insights on that?
Yeah, okay. I think half the answer has been answered by Ms. Rawat, right? So yes, definitely. I mean, like success of any organization, if you see, is lies with the amount of the delegation, or like the decision authority that you are giving. And one of the reasons, I mean, like in many forums that I've heard during my sessions in the past years with those experts, that see, one of the reason why the SMEs fail is, basically, because, they take everything on themselves. I mean, like, they take the entire, burden of the business. I mean, like, delegation is never been a forefront, decision point by the owners. So that is very, very important. And especially, I mean, like, what I would suggest, especially during this pandemic, because this is basically given us, like I mentioned earlier, it is given us a cruel wake up call, right? So I think we should learn lesson from this thing, and see how well, because we don't know, because nobody had expected this, something like this is going to happen, and now we have experienced it, and then it is better. It's like there's a saying, like, prevention is better than cure. So what actions, what initiatives that you would want to take to prevent the future thing. So I mean, like, basically, if you see that one of the budgeting strategy that the businesses should definitely use, in my viewpoint, is that, you need to have this formula of 70-20-10. So what is the 70% of the revenue, the funds that you have, you should be able to manage running your operations and your business, and the 20% of the revenue, you need to save it or invest in the technology that can take your business to the next level. And the 10% is very, very important. You invest on your workforce, you invest on your manpower, and build their competency. anything that we are doing today. And this is what is going to motivate me as an employee. I get more responsibility. I'm going to be more innovative. And, the moment you unleash and then give them, those decision point and power. And I'm sure that, people can change the world. So it is important that, we have to take a chance. And always me as an owner of an organization, I'm always there to guide my people, guide the people. The most important thing now is that, you need to, make sure that, you are giving them that space to learn, giving them that freedom, and giving them that opportunity. Again, investment, if you see, it is not much. You have enough overload of knowledge on the net. All you need to do is, tap the right information, allow your people. And definitely the moment they are independent, they are taking responsibility, the innovation is going to be the byproduct of that, which is going to definitely benefit your organization. That's what I would say.
Wonderful, sir. So with this, I would just like to wrap up the panel discussion, and we would now start with the Q&A round. We just have 10 minutes left, so we'll take up the questions quickly. The first question we have is from Abhilasha Singh. She says, is digital transformation just the need of the hour, as in only for surviving, or is this going to thrive, say, 2 years from now, as the ecosystem will change in the post-pandemic world? So what do you think about that? If anyone would like to take up this question.
So I would say that it's not going to change your life so much. In fact, why we take up digital transformation, and even when before we even heard the novel virus, COVID or pandemic, etc., people were already talking about digital transformation. People were talking about, in fact, Industry 4.0, that how industry is moving from digital now. If I step back, probably 2008 or 9/11 when that struck, or Y2K when that happened, these are the places where industry had taken different shifts and gears. So pandemic was yet another shift and gear for us, but I would not relate a digital transformation to COVID only. COVID happened and it quickly reformed us, and it quickly moved the whole industry to digital platform right now, and we started having webinars, etc., and it accelerated the movement, is what I would say. But was it required earlier? Yes, it was. And it was a strategic move for the companies to survive for the long run. And for the companies to survive for even long run, I would suggest that companies to in fact start looking at what Industry 4.0 has to offer, and how you can start benefiting from it. Not all the SMEs would be able to adapt it, given the time, money constraint, etc. But people who can, please do that, and it is only going to benefit you.
So the next question I will take up from Mr. Jay. Now he says he heads the marketing for this marketing services company. I wouldn't name the company because maybe his MD might be there in the webinar as well, based on what I'm going to say after this. So they handle the marketing services in the instant tea coffee business, which is B2B, vending services, and B2C in retail products. So this is a 20-year-old company with a turnover of about 100 CR, and it's a family-driven company. Now the challenge that he's facing is on how to convince the MD, who is old school, to invest in digital marketing. He says that currently we invest in a very minimum amount, and he always says ki ROI batao uska. So he says he doesn't understand digital marketing, and that it makes it very challenging for him, for the person, for Mr. Jay, to convince the MD. So he's just asking how really he should convince him.
I think Rawat, you should take it.
I didn't think a lot. I thought that ROI, I think you are the best person to talk about it. So please go ahead and
Yeah. See, yes, it is difficult, but then, there's nothing scientific answer that I'm trying to give you. It's very simple. Old school, it is difficult for me to change. But then, see, slowly, I think what you need to do. I were in your position. What I would do is that, let's say my senior is not not confident about the digitization and other thing. And then we have to just see that, what kind of change that, I definitely, my senior is going to have a mobile, from a simple mobile today to, today to a smartphone that we have. And we have seen, and if you see, the banking, if you talk about the old school, 5 years back, many of us would have not even wanted to take the risk of doing online business. But things are changing. Yes, along with the new development that is happening, there is a threat also. But then we have to see that how we can cope. We need to weigh and see what is better for me. The threats are there, things are there, one or two odd cases happen, and all these are there. The things will get over it. But then we have to adopt. So what I would suggest is that, see, what are the ways that you can draw parallel, bring a parallel of what today your MD is doing with the technology, and see how you can relate it to the business. And probably take one risk and say that, okay, give me 90 days, 120 days, and let us take one part of it, not dive into a complete thing. Take one area of it which you are confident and which your MD is confident, and strive towards it, and see, take it as a proof of concept, right? And then try and do that and show him the result, show him the ROI. I'm sure that anybody, I get a better ROI, I would definitely want to jump into it. So some of the strategies probably you can try it out.
Absolutely, sir. So the next question we have is from Mr. Ismail. He says, are there any industries that are still resistant or hesitant for digital transformation?
This is a very open-ended question, actually. And if you talk about any industries, so if they are resistant about going online, I'm sure eventually they will face the consequences. But it's more than the industry, it's about an individual. So how ready are you? I mean, are you really ready to take the business to the next level? Are you ready to think out of the box, think 360 degree and go digital? So it's more of, it should be less about the industry. It should more about be for yourself. So this is a very broad-ended question. Yeah.
One example I would give is that doctors, medical, even they have gone online now.
Absolutely.
What would be more digital transformation that you require?
The consultations happen on Zoom.
Exactly.
A lot of doctors have do consultations on Zoom.
Right, absolutely. So the next question, we have a tally-based question for Mr. Pugal. So Mr. Ramesh has asked, considering digital and working from home, what is the latency in tally, and how can we make tally faster? What kind of internet speed is required for it?
Okay. See, if you see the, we have solution for, in fact, Tally has a solution for this kind of, probably Tally is foreseen on these kind of thing. And we have provided a solution where basically, remote access, which almost about 6-7 years back, we came out with this concept. Yes, today Tally is not on the cloud. Now there are various reasons. My personal reason is, probably, accounts is something which is very sensitive, which many of our MSMEs would never want to have it on the cloud. But Tally does not have it on the cloud. But yes, especially when you're working from home, you have two options. Now, recently in the month of February, we had come out with browser access also, which is basically independent of device and independent of OS and other thing. So the remote access is, yes, it will allow you to access the data. And the best part of the Tally's remote access is, if you see, if I'm accessing the data from my home, and I need to take some statement. Let us say I need to give a stock statement to my banker. or anything, my outstanding statement to one of my customer that I'm following. If the customer says, I mean, I don't have the detail, can you just I mean, like, send me a copy of it or email me? You can always do that. I mean, you do not have to go to the office to fetch the information. If you are accessing the data remotely, the place from where you are accessing, and the best part is that you can access from anywhere in the world, I mean, as long as the company is connected on the other side. And the advantage is I have accessed my tally data of my office at my home, and I have a printer at home, and I can print whatever information that is there at my place. So that's one very good convenience that our remote access provides. The second is the browser access. The browser access basically allows you to access the major information, and every release that tally is coming out, they are adding more reports to that. But the basic and the fundamental and very important MIS reports, almost close to about 50 reports, are available on the browser, where you can access that information on your mobile or tab, and you don't need tally. Okay, so these are some of the things which basically helps people to get this information. The other aspect of the data size or the internet speed is concerned, again, it's a very subjective. I mean, like, it all depends on this, the number of people that they are accessing the data, the volume of the data that are there, and the kind of features that you have. Ideally, for a normal kind of an operation where you have close to about 50 to 75,000 vouchers or data that you have in your system. I mean, like, normally 8 GB and a normal a laptop or a desktop should be an ideal hardware system for comfortably handling the data in Tally.
Wonderful, sir. So I would just like to take up the last question now, and I would like to take up this question with Ms. Iti. And meanwhile, I would just request Mr. Pogal and Dr. Rupal to input your coordinates, your website, or anyone who wants to contact you or your firm, they can get in touch with you in the chat box, please. So, Ms. Iti, the question for you is from Mr. Aman Chaudhary. He says, can COVID transform the customer's thought of purchasing to online platform instead of going physically? Means, how can we provide more satisfaction to the customers digitally?
I think all the customers are becoming savvy, like we enterprises are becoming, right? And nobody wants to really get in contact with people. Even though malls, etc., have opened, we haven't really seen a major footfall happening right now at malls. And given that the online presence are really good, there are a lot of numbers that are clocking right now on online. This is a proof that customers are also going digitally savvy, and they also understand that this is a new norm that they need to accept and go with right now. In fact, some of the physical stores right now are becoming just a center for fulfilling the orders. So that's how savvy right now, and that's how digitally people are motivated right now. So definitely the thought process have changed quite a bit. There is a subjectivity that what kind of products, is it clothing or some of the luxurious products which people want to touch and feel, that also has become now online available, and are doing very well. Just to give you an example of Max, the numbers skyrocketed is what we got to know, and the Max is like more than a lakh rupee machine, and they were really selling very well. Similarly, the products that are very, very expensive also are now seeing a niche and a new channel altogether, which is digital, and people are not very reluctant to buy and purchase online. Online has got its own way of giving a different experience altogether. You would have seen how Myntra changed its just pictures to complete video formats, to people going and talking about a lot about the customer reviews, understanding from the social media connects, understanding from the peers, etc., that how people in their circle are buying, etc., taking the reviews right way, and then finally making their purchases. So customer is also digitally savvy, and they are changing their views. They understand Omni, they understand what social media influencers can do. In fact, there was a recent study that I was studying, that influencers marketing is now much more higher in terms of reception versus any other kind of marketing. So again, directing us to how social media and how things which are going digital are getting more influence when it comes to customers. So think about it. If you haven't yet gone digital, please do, and you will find customers there for sure.
So in the end, thank you so much to all our panelists. You have been a great panelist lineup for us, and you've been very patient in answering all the questions and taken up all the questions of the attendees as well. So thank you so much for your time and for your
You've been a
patience.
wonderful moderator,
Thank you.
and
Thank you.
you
Thanks
really
a lot.
moderated very well. And it was wonderful meeting you, Dr. Rupal and Mr. Pugal. It was
Yes.
Same here.
Same here. Same here.
Thanks a lot,
Thank you
Sonali.
very much. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you
Sonali.
so much. Thank you so
very
much, Dr. Rupal, Ms. Sippy, and Mr. Pugal. And thank you to all our attendees for your time. We really hope we were able to add some value to your lives through this session. And if you have any further questions, any concerns, if you would like to get in touch with our team of panelists, please get in touch with them directly, or you can get in touch with me and I can make sure I connect you with the right person from the team. And until next time, please stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you so much once again, all the panelists.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.